When you think of Spain, you usually think of plenty of greenery, but the country is actually going through a worrying environmental crisis. Its Tabernas Desert continues to expand, causing a big problem for the government. Keep watching to know more about how Spain keeps getting drier and drier and how the government is trying to deal with it. Welcome to our channel, Nature Unraveled. Today, we'll be looking at the factors that created the only desert in Spain, the Tabernas. It has some pretty unique features that set it apart from others, but what's especially interesting is that it keeps expanding. This is quite a conundrum for a country that places such importance on agriculture. Spain is one of the world's most famous vacation destinations owing to its beauty. Part of the reason is its extensive greenery, and one of its major industries is agriculture. In fact, half of its land is used for agriculture, with 33% of those being farmlands. Of the total agricultural production, about 3/4 is vegetables, fruit, and cereals like barley and wheat, and fruit like oranges, apples, and apricots are especially popular. Around 16% of the agricultural land is also used for pastures and meadows. Overall, one can easily see that agriculture plays an important role in Spain's economy. But we haven't discussed Spain's most famous produce yet. In our opinion, you can't think of olives and Spain separately. Of course, grapes are important because the country also produces a lot of wine, but most olive oil products we see have something distinctly Spanish to them. To give you a sense of exactly how prominent olive production is in the country, Spain is the world's chief producer and exporter of table olives and olive oil. This means around 24% of all olives and 44% of olive oil comes from the country. You can see that they need large amounts of fertile land to cater to their large agri-food sector, but it also led to some unexpected results. Part of them had to do with Spain's only desert, and the situation could get irreversible if nothing is done soon. Keep watching to find out more about Spain's harrowing situation. Generally, Europe is a hub for agriculturally rich countries. If not that, the continent is known for its association with art and vibrant history. While it has a few deserts like the Owing in Italy and the Bledau in Poland, its only mainland desert is the Tabernas. What's more surprising is that it's located in Spain, known for its agri-food sector. But since the rest of the country has primarily fertile land with high-end technology and advanced techniques, its presence doesn't really affect the output. The desert covers an area of 280 kilometers squared, but what will surprise you more is something that sets it apart from others. Most people visualize something like the Sahara when they think of a desert. You'd think a desert would have little or no rain, but the Tabernas actually experiences 250 millimeters of rain annually. It might not seem like much, but it's a lot for a desert. Of course, there's still a lot of heat. There are 30,000 hours of sunshine, and temperatures can rise from 95 degrees Fahrenheit to 104 degrees Fahrenheit. But owing to the rain, it has a considerable amount of vegetation. So how does this rain affect the area? Believe it or not, it actually led to a completely different topography. Wait until you discover this exciting phenomenon found in the middle of a desert. What happens is that instead of experiencing little rain at a time, most of the rain in Tabernas occurs at once. It's something like a flash flood that leads to heavy erosion. Since there's not enough vegetation to keep the soil firm, this concentrated bout of rain creates badlands. It's an intriguing name, and how they're created is even more interesting. Since heavy rainfall leads to erosion, marks are left on the desert and certain places are eroded. Sandstones with unique designs are left behind, creating the badlands. They're basically dry terrain and often serve as the background for action movies. Now, if you want to learn more about interesting geographical features, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. But let's move on to Spain's crisis, which ties into the Tabernas Desert. Desertification is a pretty self-explanatory process. It really just means that normal land is turning into desert and is often used for previously fertile land turning dry and infertile. At times, a country might experience an unexpected drought that leads to desertification, but it's often because of human negligence. You might have heard about deforestation, where forests are cut down for timber or building cities. It's an unethical practice when overdone and leads to desertification. But other times, it's because of inappropriate agriculture, and that's what's happening in Spain, as you'll soon learn. We're not just saying Spain is turning into a desert based on observation. Actual researchers have expressed concern over the country's crisis. The United Nations National Action Program for the United Nations Convention to Combat Desertification, or UNCCD, declared that about 74% of Spain is at risk of becoming a desert. What's more, 18% is at high risk, which means the condition might become irreversible if immediate actions are not taken. You should know that these sorts of situations require immediate action, otherwise it's not just the land that's affected. Did you know that desertification also means the climate becomes hot? With temperatures rising worldwide and 31.5% of the land already affected by desertification, Spain needs to do something fast. The worst part is that its human activities are the main issue. A large part of overfarming caused underground water reservoirs known as aquifers to become completely drained, leaving the soil dry. Too much irrigation also caused salinization in many areas, which means that salt has accumulated on top of the soil, leaving it unfarmable unless treated. If remedial actions aren't taken in time, it might even be irreversible. Finally, erosion is also an indirect effect of human activities. Since trees aren't present in farmlands, no roots hold the soil firm, causing it to erode. All three are major problems in Spain. All this damage is creating havoc in the country's ecosystem, and the water is not sufficient enough to support it anymore. The water used for agriculture was over 7 times more than the amount used in homes, which shows how much was being used. It's obvious that something must be done soon. But you'll see that those who benefited all these years also took the initiative to change things and give back to the soil. Here's how. Over 250 entrepreneurs and researchers in the industry came together to start the Unraveled project over 20 years ago. Its initial goal was to restore 1 million hectares of land, including areas near Almeria, Granada, and Murcia. The project is an amazing example of what people can do when they come together with a common goal. Everyone involved is providing their expertise to strategize plans to regenerate and nurture the soil in the country. Over 1.3 million euros is funneled for the project's cause by philanthropists and foreign investors, and part of the goal is the natural restoration of 10,000 hectares of forest by 2026. It's expected that we'll see visible results around 2035, but until then, we'll have to be patient. But this isn't the only initiative. There's another NGO that has taken up the mantle in Spain. Common Land is a Dutch NGO that's already working in Africa and Australia. It's known for getting great results in reversing desertification in these areas. It's decided to start its operations in Spain after numerous applications from concerned landowners who brought the issue to their attention. Starting in the plateau in Almeria, Common Land is smart with its strategy and involves local farmers instead of teaming up with an outside organization. By engaging the concerned population, they're ensuring dedication and good results. Their strategy is the green wall they used in the Sahara, where a long strip of the forest was planted across the continent to stop the desert from growing. But in our opinion, Common Land's smartest strategy was ensuring the program's sustainability by investing in local companies with similar interests. You'll be surprised to know how willing local farmers are when they're taught the right techniques to make sure the land isn't damaged. Common Land's main focus is on soil regeneration. Soil regeneration requires returning minerals to the soil since farming takes most of these out. Since modern farming is a continuous process, it can't regenerate naturally. So, planting leguminous plants and different grass species help return nitrogen to the soil. You've learned how the people have banded together in an inspirational move to save their country and livelihoods. But what's the government doing? Well, the Spanish government has announced a multi-phase program that will involve NGOs, national and local authorities, researchers, and farmers to develop strategies to combat the growing problem. While there's no set initiative at the moment, they've gathered all the relevant parties to make sure everyone contributes to reversing the damage as soon as possible. If we're being honest, the situation is extreme enough that it calls for a national policy that regulates farming and mining practices and invests in technology to ensure soil regeneration. The government has to set incentives for those willing to contribute to helping Spain, especially if those parties are local stakeholders. Now, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and leave a comment for us below. We'd love to hear your thoughts and feedback. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more valuable content just like this. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a video. Thank you for watching.